Welcome everybody to the Friday Night Cha Rule Show. I'm glad everybody could join and come out. This is the hour where I set aside to talk to everybody on a case-by-case basis in equity to reach and teach and everybody and show everybody the different lights that have been revealed to me and the foundations that have been revealed to me that I can lay for all of y'all to build upon. So that's kind of what this time is for, asking in all questions involving or regarding nature, spirit, and commerce. Yas, Jewy Suris, thanks for coming on. Thank you, my beautiful moderator. I think you're my moderator, Awareness Daily. So anyway, been a very, very eventful week. I have a video. I have it all recorded. I'm just working on the edit. So that will be released either tonight or tomorrow or something like that. It's on Public Notaries, and it's a very interesting video. And I was actually warned by someone if I say a certain thing, which is talking about a triple notary seal, that I'll be banned. And I told her, I'm like, I haven't gotten banned yet, and I don't know why. I really don't even know why I'm not banned. There's only one video that I've made that they keep community violating for some reason. Only one out of all of them, out of all like 70, 80 videos I've made. And I think it's because a federal agent or somebody tried to build a case upon me reported it because I was helping him for 7, 8, 9 months, and then I told him I had 2 videos on traveling without a license. And then within a minute, that video got flagged after I told him that, and it had been up for I don't know 13 months, and then suddenly magically after I told this guy I was helping for 7 months on the side, I told him about that video. It suddenly got flagged in community, and then they wouldn't accept appeal, and then I reposted it, and it went under the radar I guess for another 5 months, 6 months or something. But I've learned a lesson, and here's what sucks: if I delete that video, it'll take all my likes with it. And it's hard for me to get likes. I'll spend 5, 6, 7, 8 hours putting together a video, and I'll get 150 likes, 200 likes on it, and it just takes a while. And that video has originally had 8,000 likes on it, and then I deleted it, reposted it, and it got 1,000, but or maybe 1,200. I don't want to delete it because then I'll lose all the likes. It's like it's just hard for me to get them. I don't know where y'all are at, but I'll look on people's stuff. And they got millions. They got 58 million likes. They got 238,000 million likes or whatever. And I'm like, golly. And they're it's just so weird the stuff that they're doing and saying. But I'm teaching a very niche type of esoteric type of knowledge that isn't for everybody. And that's what's hard for a lot of people to grasp. And it's just TikTok sometimes doesn't want to promote my stuff out there. So. So I've started drinking something called Soleil. It's basically salt water. It's basically you use unrefined mineral salt water. It has like 70, 80 minerals that are good for your body, which none of us are getting. It don't matter really what diet you're on. You could be vegan. I mean, if you're vegan, alkaline, holistic, you're on the right path. But even having said that, all the nutrients in the soil and stuff has been so depleted, and everybody's getting sprayed and with chemtrails and stuff. It's just you got to pick your battles. But I started to do the Soleil water, which is, it's basically salt water. You use like 5 teaspoons of this unrefined salt, and I used the water. They say use distilled water, but I used spring water. Anyway, it has minerals in it anyway, so I'll use spring water. And what I've noticed, it's only been a week, and what's weird is I noticed I actually could feel when I ate something that wasn't good. For instance, like I made my kids some fries and nuggets, and they're vegan, so they're vegan fries and nuggets. But when I ate it all, it just like my stomach could tell it was like, this is garbage. Like it was like, what have you put in me? And I couldn't tell that before. And then like in the morning, I'll wake up and I'll drink a cup or whatever, and like my body, it's like it can tell it's like it's really good, and like I haven't really been able to notice that before, but all of a sudden it just started popping off, and that's kind of wild. Well, I just got out of bachata class. I saw a comment. Where in the heck did it go? Slick Vic 2000. I rarely see your videos anymore. Yeah, homie. If you want to know the definition of suppressed, TikTok, suppresses me to a percent of about 80, 70% suppressed. So I'm still getting out some. But if you want to see full suppression, join the 10 views of this live that will be on YouTube. Because when I post this on YouTube, YouTube will graciously blast it out to 6 to 7 people over the course of 5 days, and then it might go up a little more from that or whatever. that is, you want to see some suppression. It's like they found a way to like not like ban you. And so I'm not getting banned. They'll just throttle me down till I get 5 people. And so I stopped, like, I would listen to my lives and so exactly the whole purpose is to record this for y'all. It's making a repository that y'all can go back and listen to any of this info at any time you want. You can play it back. Well, I was spending time listening to everything I was saying, making keynotes and all that, and it's just like it's a waste of my time, going on YouTube and trying to denote everything I'm talking about, because there's only like 5. I mean, I listen to it. I probably listen to it more than anybody else. But anyway, I just got back from bachata. I'm gonna tell you what, being a leader on the dance floor for something that you are not prepared for. Look, I basically feel like being a baby. So this commercial walk on the stuff that I'm teaching y'all, basically the esoteric knowledge and stuff, like this is how I feel out there on the dance floor, because I'm like on my 4th lesson and stuff, and I'm supposed to be the leader. The man is supposed to be the leader. And it's so wild. I'm dancing with other students that they don't know what they're doing, and it's like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm supposed to lead y'all, So I'm like, oh my gosh, and how I try to come from all the time is I don't like leading nobody astray, like ever. Like that's why I try to do my due diligence, and I've studied this stuff for 10 or 12, 13 years before I started releasing this stuff. But I'm out here on the dance floor. This is like day 4, and I'm just like, whoo! I'm gonna tell you what. It is stutter stepping. I'm out here trying to lead and guide girls that don't know what they're doing, and I don't know what I'm doing. It's a blast though. It's a lot of fun. And then what was wild is when I dance with somebody who actually knows what they're doing. It's so much better. But I'm still supposed to be the leader, and guys are really behind on the 8 ball when it comes to being the leader, because girls are taught how to dance from a very early age, and guys aren't. So anyway. Thanks for the likes, the shares, the follows. I appreciate everybody for all your support. Feel free to ask any and all questions. This hour is set aside to help anybody on. Is the wife doing the dancing with you? It's fun. No. She already knows it. She already knows how to do bachata. I'm trying to catch up. Like I'm already trying to my girl, and she's very well learned. Learned about it in Puerto Rico. Basically knows it from her whole history. And I didn't even know nothing about bachata, but basically it has a great history behind it. It was introduced in Dominican Republic, and it was actually a poor person's dance. And it meant basically when people came over and like you brought over bongos, you brought over drum, you brought over guitar, whatever, and that was like what it meant. And then from there, the actual ruler banned it. The guy in the Dominican Republic ruler banned bachata, so they'd actually have to hide in brothels and ghettos and stuff to actually even do it. So it has a really cool basically beginning, but it wasn't until it came over here into New York before it started actually becoming more modern bachata, where they started adding all the flair and all the different stuff. So. But it's just like anything. It's like any program that I try to use. You got to learn. You got to study anything and everything. It's like brand new. Like if I'm learning Adobe, if I'm learning AutoCAD, if I'm learning Photoshop, if I'm learning like my property management software, whatever. It's like anything. You have to put in the effort to start learning it, because every single thing is like its own little monster that you got to tackle. Well, the same thing happens out here in the natural and the commercial world and the spiritual world. Trying to learn all this stuff, you got to take little baby steps. And it's not because you can't walk, it's because it's a lot easier to fall down and get back up than if you're trying to hop on a motorcycle for the first time and crash. Like, you'll be in the hospital a lot longer. It's just, learn what you can do and what you can't do. Those are the great foundations that I try to teach and come from for everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here on this live on this Friday night and joining me for this class. Basically, this is kind of what I call my equity class, where I'm freestyle talking about nature, spirit, and commerce, anything and everything. This is where you can ask any questions. I basically help guide any and all to the best of my ability. I have a great spiritual foundation. I have a great natural foundation. I have a great commercial foundation. Most any and all people only want to talk about commercial stuff, but the truth is that it's really, really hard. It's not easy. And anybody who tries to teach you, hey, pay me $50, $600, $1,000 and I'll show you the easy button, usually isn't the right way. I mean, even lawyers, just a lawyer for one process costs $2,000 sometimes for a good case, and they're doing minimal efforts because they're so swamped and overloaded and stuff like that. Well, the same thing happens out here in this commercial world with these people that sometimes they think they're teaching the right thing, the best that they can, and they're not. They're leading everybody astray because they don't have foundations to bounce stuff off of, and that's why I lay simple foundations and fundamentals that you can try and test and cannot be shaken. And then once you start laying foundations, you can build upon those. It's like just like Scripture says. It doesn't say that a storm is not going to come. It says to build your house on a foundation that is solid. If you build your house on sand, when the storm comes, it's going to get eroded. If you build your house on mud, it's going to get eroded when the storm comes. It does not say that a storm is not coming. We all have to go through the fire. We all have to get tested. We all have to get tried. A storm will come. And same thing happens when you're doing commercial processes. That's why I don't like putting out paperwork for everybody, because if I do your paperwork for you and the storm comes, you'll fold up like a napkin. I can't be there for you if you can't stand on it. You have to take the time and the effort. I have made playlists for everybody to help re-educate you on a case-by-case basis as well for the simple foundations, and then you can reach out and DM me. I spend a lot of time in this walk. I spend a lot of time making videos. I spend a lot of time working on lives. I spend a lot of time answering questions, and I spend a lot of time on my website updating it continuously. I have over 1,000 videos. I'm gonna tell you what, I wish I didn't let it build up that much. I had 1,300 videos, and I put 200 of them on my website that I've downloaded from TikTok, because a lot of these things, they'll come up for an hour and then TikTok will ban it or something. And that's what sucks about I have so many people sending me videos, and some of them, if I don't catch them within an hour or two, they'll be gone. So I try to stay on top of that, as well as everybody asking me questions and whatnot, and I got a lot going on. But don't tread on me. Hey, Charles, do you know how the governor is land grabbing right now in New York? Legally or legal? No, I did not hear that. There are so many companies that are land grabbing. How many spam mails have you gotten in the mail saying we buy houses? We'll buy your house. I got a cash offer for my house for the first time. This was the first time I ever got this in the mail. Oh, I do got to tell y'all something cool too. I sent I'm gonna circle back. I sent a letter through the Republic of Virginia for the first time in probably 7 years. But I'm gonna circle back to that. So I got a cash offer on my house for the first time ever. Normally it's like they'll say, hey, we'll buy this for you, or how much you want or whatever. They straight up offered 70% of my house's value, just cash straight out. Now, of course, this person doesn't know that my house is inside of an LLC and managed by a trust and stuff like that. Like, it's all kind of locked into stuff. But anyway, that was the first time I had ever gotten a cash offer in the mail. I thought that was very unique. All right, so anyway, this was kind of unique what happened since the last time I sent a letter for 3 cents through the Republic of Virginia without the United States. Okay, I sent it to my friend. I mailed it to him. It's her birthday tomorrow, and I sent it to her. And what I found was unique is they didn't cancel the stamp. I have never seen a post ever go through the mail that didn't cancel the stamp. And from the best I could see, if it was very, very light, because she just kind of held it up and showed it to me and was like, what's this? And I haven't even gotten to actually explain it to her, because her mom was with us. And I was sitting there, it's got all this stuff on it, without the U.S., it's invoking congressional charters or pages and stuff like that. It's got writing all over it and stuff. And I was kind of like, I didn't really want to talk about this in front of your mama, but, I invoke some private side of the post office and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm going to be going on a hot air balloon tomorrow, I believe. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to be going in a hot air balloon tomorrow, and I don't think I've been on one since I was a kid. I don't know if any of y'all have been on one, but it has been so long since I've been up there in a hot air balloon and trying to just check out the scenery, just take some peaceful time to just relax and all that. So Anyway, guys, a recap of this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. You can join any of my social medias. They're linked on my website. My website has auxiliary information, including all my social medias. The website is linked on my profile page of TikTok. It is anointednewfoundationofpeace.life. You can click on that. You can email me. You can DM me. You can call me. I answer continuously. I give free consultations. All the information on my website is free. All my videos are free. I've created playlists to help re-educate basically some foundational understandings. It is kind of dry. I'm a lot better at making videos now than I was back then, a year and a half, 2 years ago when I started this, releasing a lot of this stuff. But, and somebody actually mentioned I should remake all the beginning foundational videos, but I don't know what it is. I'm so busy now. It takes. I wanted to finish and knock out that video today. I have it. I've recorded it. I just haven't finished doing the edits. Clay Hundley. That's awesome. Where at? It's about an hour and a half from where it's. You ain't gonna believe this. The place is called Licking Hole. The place that I'm flying in a balloon is called Licking Hole. And I'm like, hold up. What's going on? And then get this, the guy. So the guy, I call the guy. He's a single owner, and he's like, he basically calls. He says, look, yeah, you can come on in. I have a great deal with a hotel. I got a relationship with them. I just got to call them, and then we can, you can come in, and it's only 5 minutes away. Whatever, blah blah blah. I'm like, cool. I get on there. He tells me, all right, here's the hotel. Let them know you're coming here, and I go in this hotel, and out of the entire 5 months, the most expensive day is the day that I'm going there suddenly. It's like magically. It's like this dude called the hotel and it's like, oh, we got a sucker coming in from out of town. Jack your price up 50% and say you'll give him a 10% discount. And I was like, what? And then all the hotels around it, which are 1, 3, 4 minutes away, are cheaper. And I'm like, what is this guy trying to do? And I'm going to tell you, flying in an air balloon ain't cheap. It's not cheap by any means. Doing anything in the air, doing anything isn't cheap anymore. Clay Hundley, I usually don't accept anybody joining my live because it takes away from basically what I'm trying to do. And I know I'm talking about all kinds of crazy stuff, but typically I spend this time to teach case by case, like any and all questions. If somebody wants to ask me about, how to do a conditional acceptance, or how to make a trust, or how, if they want to learn about alkaline, or they want to learn about, nature, and like how spiritual fire affects us all, and how your consciousness, so like any and all questions that come on. And when someone comes on my live, the last time that they did it, they take away because it's like they're over there just talking about, eating spaghetti and playing games. And I'm over here trying to help people. So if I ever allow anybody to join on my live, I'd like to just talk to them first, and then we can come up with a time, and they can come on, and we can do like a back and forth, and like that would be awesome. But I kind of want to make sure vet. And I'll tell you why I vet is because I've learned a lot of lessons on this walk with helping people. And for instance, a lot of people want me to help them with court cases and stuff. And the first thing I basically come at them with is, all right, is there an injured party? What was the charges? I've learned my lesson on that one. And basically, I've had people come at me and say, oh, there's no injured party. And then we get walking down the road. We're talking about stuff, this, that, and the other. And then he goes, yeah, I got to try to figure out how to find the guy. And I was like, why are you trying to find him? He's like, I want to apologize for pulling him out of the car and pistol whipping him. And I'm like, you said there was no injured party. He was like, oh, he didn't bruise. He ain't bruised when I choked him and I hit him with the gun. And I'm sitting there like, what in the world? Dude, I'm like, no. I'm like, let me, I got to go, yo. Like, what in the world? And I'm not saying that the stuff that I teach doesn't work when there's an injured victim. It's just your come from isn't at peace. If you're not coming from peace and in love, you're not going to get far on this walk. If your goal is just money, you're not going to get far on this walk. And that's how the whole scheme is designed. And it keeps us into this locked grid. It's just kind of a messed up system where the people that control our education and our health and our medical system just kind of have designed it where we're constantly thinking about everything else instead of what really matters. And that's why that video hits so close to home, the zeitgeist. When it first starts, it's like, when you get that ultimate promotion, you climb the highest ladder on the corporate, you get the biggest house, you get the hottest girl, you get and it's like, what really matters, because he explains how his grandma would beat him in Monopoly. his grandma would beat him Monopoly so bad that he was eventually willing to rob, cheat, and steal to beat her. And then one day he finally beat her. And she said, okay, cool. Now there's one more lesson. He said he was so hyped he finally beat his grandma at Monopoly and whatever. And she goes, there's one more lesson that I got to teach you. And he's like, what's that? She said, it all goes back in the box. And it's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, these game pieces were here before you came in this picture. They're going to be here after you're gone. All of the pieces go back in the box. You can't take them with you. And I'm like, it was just mind-blowing. Like, boom, grandma laying that knowledge on thick, MEES. When the next time you going over conditional acceptance? You can ask me any question you want. Like conditional, I have a video on the 4 main doors to any commercial offer, and they start verbally. So if someone asks you a question like, yo, Mess, you want to come over to my house? You could conditionally accept. I'll come over there if you got beer. That is a conditional acceptance. You don't have to say I will conditionally accept. And this is the stuff that judges are masters in. They're masters in contract law. Contracts start verbally. Well, they start mentally, but that's spiritual stuff. So, they start verbally, and whenever you're given something, any type of offer, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be a piece of paper. It could be like somebody saying, hey, you want to buy this car, or hey, let's go this way. It's an offer. It's a commercial offer, and through actions express things too. Like if you put your hand on a girl's leg and she doesn't say anything, that's acceptance. And now I'm not saying go out there and do that to everybody. I'm just trying to tell you how this stuff works. Now, if you put your hand on a girl's leg and she goes, I'll let you touch my leg if you massage my neck first, that's a conditional acceptance. Now, from there, you can start massaging her neck, and guess what? Y'all have created a contract. Y'all have basically started to engage in contractual obligations where it's like, all right, I'm rubbing this girl's neck now. I get to touch her leg afterwards, That's how everything works in this life, and we're not taught about it, but our words have value. Anything that has value and you start trying to exchange it is called commerce. And we have 2 different bodies. We have our spiritual body and our natural body. And the commercial light, which is the moon, is the segue between both. Any and all things that exchange. You can exchange nature to nature, yes, and spirit to spirit, and spirit to nature, and spirit to nature to spirit, and any combination of that in between. And basically, when you are dealing in the commercial light, it is any movement. You can't do any movement without commerce, like anything. Yo, Black Swan, what's up? How are you? I thought about you today. I was like, man, it's been a little while since I talked to you, but I figured you are going full blast, full steam on your amazing mission. Don't tread on me. What website would I have to go to and get a FOIA request on a judge, clerk, etc.? I don't know about a website for a FOIA. Like, what are you trying to do? You trying to get their oath of office? Or are you trying to get a court case transcript? Or are you trying to get what kind of information are you trying to get from the judge or clerk? Because they're holding public offices and they have to be bonded and swear oaths to uphold the Constitution and the bankrupt system that keeps everybody in lock, which is crazy. And that's what I love. I sound crazy to the indoctrinated person, and an indoctrinated person is crazy to me. And it's like, here we are, just loving in a beautiful dance. Sing Sigma 1. I'll take your gold and give you paper promissory notes in its place. I like that. Do you accept that offer? What if the piece of paper promised interest on top of that gold, and it was like stamped and sealed by a judge or a notary or whatever, and it was a public record? Because did you know that public records are enforceable? What if I told you I would exchange gold for labor for you? That's a great contract, and that is actually foreign to Federal Reserve notes. That is outside of kind of their jurisdiction. And whenever you're dealing in Federal Reserve notes, you're giving up jurisdiction because that's someone else's property. And it's backed by someone's promise to pay one day. And everybody uses it and has full faith and credit as far as everybody believes it's worth something, even though it's not. Always, bro, Black Swan. Yeah, I believe that. Dominus Litis, Petrial habeas corpus paired with interlocutory appeals or appeal bars, criminal prosecution in the USA. That's pretty intense. It sucks. I always wish I could copy. So I love that I can use my mouse on y'all's comments, but I wish I could just copy the. I wonder if it'll let me like snip it. Hold on, that would be cool. Oh, Yep, it is. It's letting me snip it. But can I copy it from there? Nope. Okay. I'm used to being able to copy something, like I can do a screenshot with my iPhone and then I can highlight the text and stuff. I was just playing around on my computer just a second ago. Wait, hold on. Did I miss something? I think you said the same thing twice. Sigma 1, I promised but broke that promise. Just steal your gold and not. So, you don't have to operate with promissory notes. You don't have to operate with Federal Reserve notes. You can operate in gold. And guess what? I bet you if you go into your history since you were a child, I bet you didn't have any gold. I bet you Sigma didn't have any gold that was taken from you. And guess what? You are also not a party to the contract of the Constitution. But you can invoke it. You can invoke a gold clause. You can invoke the Constitution, but you're not a party to it. There's no signature of Sigma on it. Now, people who swear an oath to it to uphold it are by basically expressing the contract of unity to uphold it. And you can do that with anything. It's just how contracts work. But when you're saying that someone took your gold, okay, which they didn't because you didn't have any, never did. I mean, we all have the element gold in our body. Granted, we all have different fine, very luxurious metals within our body, but nobody took your gold, and of course they don't care because whenever a military takes over, and I hate to say this, so I tell Moors this sometimes. There's things that kind of confuse me about the Moors. I don't know why they were in the Trail of Tears, but they're also saying that they owned all the land. Now I don't know if somebody sold it, but it's the same way anything works. Whenever a territory is conquered, whether through deceit, whether through holding an Indian's pen and signing contracts that they have no clue about, or coercion or threat or whatever, you've got to prove fraud. You've got to come back on it and say, hey, this is not right. This is, because just like contracts we talked about earlier, if you don't speak up about it, then it's acceptance. It's acceptance to the terms and claims they're in. Now, if you want to try to claim that Federal Reserve notes are what you want to deal with, or gold, you can deal in gold. You can buy gold with Federal Reserve notes. That blew my mind when I've started learning about all this stuff about money of account versus money of substance and stuff like that. But anyway, Yahushua's the king. Sorry. Oaths from the Secretary of State and the county clerk. Yes, they all have to do oaths. Is that what you're trying to do a FOIA on? Who asked about the FOIA earlier? Oh, it's so long ago. You're speaking my language. I'll watch your stuff here and contact you. Absolutely. I always suggest to everybody to go over the playlist on my profile, Spiral Tiger. Playlist on my profile, and then circle back. All right, where are we at? I promised but broke that promise. Black Swan, thanks for the heart. Thanks for joining the team. I thought you was already on the team. Or does that happen every time you come on? I don't know. I thought once you joined, you was in for life. Blood in, baby. Blood in, blood out. All right, Sigma Oaths from Office Diminished. Petrius Habeas Corpus. I already did that. My YouTube name is, all my social medias are the same, MEES. It's Cha_rules. And if you look on my TikTok handle, my Twitter handle, my Telegram handle, my I don't know if my Telegram handle is the same as Child Rules or not, because it's a nature spirit. Yo, thank you, Rogue888. Thank you for joining the team. Thank you for the heart. Much love. All your gifts will be used to help others by enlightening the unified consciousness, because we're all one in this. Ain't none of us getting out of this alive, so let's enjoy this ride and try to help educate and come from love. All right, baby. I need to settle. Hold on. Oh, I was able to halt their proceedings against me, and now I'm suing. Yeah, that's sweet. Heck yeah, I'm glad, dude. I'd love to hear what kind of angle you came from, or what you're able to do, because I think when we had talked, you said that there was some gray areas about how they were trying to enforce stuff because it wasn't in writing. Don't tread on me. I need to settle a debt with Progressive Court. No insurance, no tags, no proof of insurance. They making me pay. Okay, so there's you can use a notary for, and I'm getting ready to release a video on that. But the question, and this is why I stopped dead in my tracks. Is the car? Do you have true controlling title of the car? Now listen, I'm not saying that I am the master of any of these things, okay? And I'm not saying that you can't do an acceptance for value or you can't do, you can't make a bill of exchange. I've seen a lot of people go to jail making bills of exchange. But I've also learned in this that when it comes to the legal system, it doesn't matter what the truth is, because they turn around, they take our signatures and create money out of it, and put it on their books as an asset, and then they start fractionalizing, and then they turn around and call your U.S. citizen a debtor, and you're the authorized underwriter for it. And then basically you start paying on it, even though your signature, the human, created the asset. So I've seen enough in my walk where I'm starting to take the position of where it's like anything can happen, okay? Anything can happen. I was blown away that my stamp didn't get canceled on that letter. I gotta inspect it under a light. It was really quick when I seen it, but if you didn't have true controlling title of the car, I have a couple videos that I can tag you in. It's on my website. I think it's under traffic. If you go on my website under commerce traffic, there's 2 videos that have a guy who can basically break it down to where, and here's the truth. How much time and effort do you want to spend on your battles, right? You got to pick your battles, because when it's a traffic violation or a light thing, sometimes, I could go to court and say that it's not proper service. I wasn't properly serviced, and I could fight it. I could lose I could lose 6 hours and do a private administrative procedure, which would take me all kinds of time, or I could just spend $50. And it's like, what's your time worth? My time spending 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours isn't worth $50 for me. Like, I have people that pay me $350, $400 an hour for consultations. And this was for just side hustle stuff, not the stuff I do for y'all. I do everything for this for free. I'm talking about with property management. I have people paying me $350, $400 an hour for consultations. So, for me to spend 7, 8, 9, 10 hours on something that's only $50, it's like I'm just going to pay the $50. But you got to pick your battles. If you didn't have true controlling title of the car, that means if it was registered that the state controls it, okay, it's their property, and they request, as the beneficiary, they request their trustees to have taxes, tags, titles, and insurance and licenses and obey by all the rules, okay, of their property. Now, if you had true controlling title of the property that you are engaging with, and you're good. You can put it in your own sovereign trust, But whenever you register something to the state, they get to control it. And that's what happens with everything. It's just simple. Those are foundations that you have to lay and understand, okay? Was it registered? Was the car registered? Okay. If it is, did you show them a license? Did you show them an ID? Did you show them that you are basically a commercial operator that is an enemy that was granted permission to engage in commerce when you showed them a license? Did you do that? You showed them a license? So if you're driving their property and you're showing them that you're licensed as an enemy to do business on their roads, and then all of a sudden you want to say, oh, hey, I don't have to have no tags. I don't have to have no proof or nothing, blah, 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 blah. You're going to get hemmed up. Then after you do all, you get true title. Did you give public notice? Did you give public notice that you're going to be traveling through jurisdictions as a sovereign? And did you tell them that there could possibly be any fees for hindering your journeys, sojourning? But during times of war, they have a right to inspect to make sure there's no enemies engaged in activity. And if you're engaged in Federal Reserve notes, that's an enemy activity. If you're going to a job for the straw man, that's an enemy activity. You got to understand how everything works. It is smoke and mirrors, but it's simple foundations and fundamentals you got to lay down in order to operate properly. And that's actually what I'm talking about right now is how I started releasing this knowledge, is because some girl who had 800,000 views said, hey, you don't need a license. You can hop in your car and you can just drive around and you're good. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're getting ready to send 800,000 people to jail. Great, that's cool, TikTok, great. And then I get on here and I start telling the truth, and at least they let it out to 80,000 people. But the other traveling video, I don't know why or what's in it, other than I think a agent flagged it, is why it keeps getting community guideline violations. But anyway, MES bond number is with risk management, usually a county master bond. Dominus Litis, I will deem it. Yes, I think we've talked before, Dominus. Black Swan, LOL, I got you. I copied it and sent it to you. Oh, cool, thanks. Yeah, I'd love to see it. don't try to me. Commonwealth versus me. So right there, I think you're mistaken also. I think it's going to be Commonwealth versus your straw man. It sounds like you're missing some foundational understandings that you need to basically grasp before trying to. And I'll be real with you. I tell people all the time, if you are not very well learned and you try to go into someone else's system, aka a court system, which is very, very tricky and takes a lot of time and effort to understand all the little nuances, like contracts start verbally, like anything the judge says is an offer. Are you reserving your rights before crossing the bar? Have you done any private set-off settlement and closures on the account? Do you know how to enforce and take control of the court? Did you know that if you even make a statement, you're an enemy? Stuff like that. If you don't know all these little nuances, you will get hemmed up immediately, and they'll just wipe the floor with you. And I tell people all the time, this is how it works. This is the truth. And if you're not ready to take, a good month and a half, 2 months of studying 10, 15 hours a day, I wouldn't even attempt to even tackle a court case. Especially if it's not like a federal one. Like, oh my goodness. Like, the judge has so many tricks. The judges are all trained in UCC law, okay? And they watch all these videos of these quote-unquote sovereign citizens that come in there and they know all the little tricks, especially all the ones that are taught wrong. And a lot of us are taught wrong. Trust me, I have gone down a lot of wrong paths. It's taken a lot of time for me to bump my head, and that's why I try to tell y'all, walk. There's some things that I have skipped on. I'm not saying I skipped over. I'm talking about skipped, not walk, not ran, but skipped with. And that's why it's taken me 13 years to get where I'm at. And I'm in a position I'm able to help people, other people, avoid dangers. This is the best foundation of truth that I can lay for everybody. Like, watch out. Walk here. Don't put the fork in the outlet over there. Yeah, you're not supposed to lick a raccoon's rear end. It'll bite you. Certain little things like that on this path that none of us are taught for a reason, because the people that control everything don't want this knowledge out. And it's just, if you lean on someone else for your education, your health, for money, for anything, you got to understand all the rules to anything you're leaning on. If you don't create it, you don't get to control it. That's a foundation that I teach everybody too. You can control what you create, okay? If you created something, you get to control it. If you didn't create it, who created it, and what are the rules that they say if you're going to use it? All right, so guys, a recap of this video will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. All my social medias are linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page of TikTok. It's Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. I have tons of auxiliary information for free on my website to help y'all on any of your paths should you want to continue to gain and learn in knowledge. And I also have created playlists to help re-educate everybody, lay some foundations that can't be shaken should you want to learn what I teach. And I have people all the time coming at me from some sources and stuff that other people teach saying, hey, yeah, how do you do a stamp? How do you do a 31 CFR stamp on this $100 million bond that I can send to the Treasury? And I'm like, I don't teach that. Good luck. Find out who taught that to teach you, because I ain't messing with it. Good luck on that. I have seen one person that I know of get a bond through the Treasury, and they still ended up going to jail because the judge said that it's people like him that mess up systems, even though there was no defect in the instrument. And so you gotta be careful. You gotta understand if you're gonna be using a U.S. citizen as your buffer interface for the public, what it can do, what it can't do. You're the authorized representative for the U.S. citizen. You don't have to use the U.S. citizen. You can use a different entity to engage in commerce with. It's up to you, But if you're gonna use that girl, she got strings attached. All right, that's all I'm saying. You're gonna mess with Federal Reserve notes. She got strings attached. So you got to understand those kinds of things if you're going to be, it's just simple foundations, And I had to put all these puzzle pieces together from a lot of different sources in order to lay them down. But, I have a list of all good books on my Telegram group, a lot of the teachers that I learned from, and I have a lot of the stuff on my website as well that's for free. All right, SCUD 16, explain FOIA. That is a Freedom of Information Act that basically they can still deny releasing it if it will harm the public. And so it's basically like it compels somebody to release information that normally would be private. For instance, I have private books and records, okay? I have private books and records that if the IRS wants to audit, they have to have reasonable cause and ask my permission. That's one of the entities that I operate with, which is called a corporation sole. That's what I have on my private books and records. When you do a FOIA request, you're asking them to release private information that normally is not publicly available. And then they can basically say, I'm not giving it to you because it will cause a risk for the public or something like that. Because we're in a perpetual state of emergency, right? Since 1933, the U.S. has been in a perpetual state of emergency, invoking emergency war powers over all U.S. citizens and other businesses. Even though Congress has basically said that corporations have rights like persons, other persons, like U.S. citizens. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the share. Thanks for all the likes. We're up to almost 5,000 likes, and I've been on here for 44 minutes. So I got about 15 more minutes, y'all. Y'all feel free to ask any questions. LOA, I was saying anyway. Okay, yeah, I'd love to see it. I'm gonna check it out later, Black Swan. Moorish Warrior, thanks for the sharing. Solo, Mr. Charles, how are you? Hope all is well and family is blessed. Yes, we are doing phenomenal. It is a beautiful Friday. I am having so much fun. I'm just coming off with all kinds of love for everybody. So, Scud, can you file a FOIA request for being sued by Discover? Yeah, you can do a FOIA request. You can FOIA request anything. You can FOIA request like what doctors said during your birth. It doesn't mean it's there, you know what I'm saying? But you can do FOIA requests on anything, and they are compelled to an extent to release that knowledge as long as it doesn't harm the public. And a lot of times, like with the quote-unquote miser papers and stuff, what they'll do is they'll just redact everything. They'll be like, oh yeah, we can release it. Here you go. Here's 700 pages of nothing but black ink, just completely blacked out. It's like, oh, thanks. I'm glad that I got this. This is beautiful. I'll hang it on my wall. Why is this song replaying? I thought... Anyway, all right, RZA 4. How do you discharge a mortgage? So mortgages, I love saying it every time. Well, I hate saying it, but mortgages are one of the hardest things to get out of. And this is what has been taught to me by several different, basically experts in contract law over my entire walk. Is that whenever you're starting to try to take on a bank for a mortgage, be prepared to lose your house. So every once in a while it'll work. It's just like going to the casino. But if you even look up the affidavit of Walker F. Tide, where the guy was going against the bank, and on the record, the attorney, who was a professional witness, said on the record that it is a human signature that creates an asset on the bank's books, and they don't even lend out any money. That guy still lost the case, And a lot of it has to do with what you're able to enforce. Okay, you have to be very learned in private administrative procedures. You got to know what is general accounting practices. You have to know about banking. You have to know about public and private. You have to know about commingling. You have to know about what's admissible as evidence. You have to know about how to enforce and get somebody in a contract and create public records and private records and basically bring home the dog. And that's how it all works. That's how anything works. If you're going to hop behind a jet and try to fly it, you've got to know all the buttons to push, right? You can fly that jet smoothly. You can fly it bumpily. It just depends on how well learned you are on whether or not you're going to, drive it into a mountain in the water or land it good. It's just like any of this stuff. And that's why I try to kind of, I put out a lot of good information, but it's also kind of sneakily intertwined, and you have to put the puzzle pieces together, because if you can do that, you can take the next step. If you can't, then I'm not giving machine guns to rabbits, because it's not only is it pointless, but it'll just it's like, well, I'm glad I did that. It makes me feel good. Anyway, don't tread on me. My license have a UCC 1-308 by my signature. Yeah, so a UCC is someone else's basically. That's copywritten code, right? UCC is. Now, it is enforceable. The license is not yours, because it most likely has a state, corporate state on top of it. Licenses are issued to enemies of the United States. U.S. citizens are enemies. You have to have a license to engage in any business because you're an enemy, if you represent a U.S. citizen, right? And so it's not your license, and I wouldn't. It was issued to an enemy. It's a U.S. citizens, and it belongs to the state. The same thing with a Social Security card. It says belongs to the Social Security Administration, and it has the number for the straw man. It has the tax identification number for the straw man. Sigma, my Telegram is linked on my website. It's Nature, Spirit, and Commerce chat group. But when I first started my Telegram, it took me a little while to figure out how to get it all up and running, because it I had to create the group, and then I had to create a chat group. At first I created the group, but then nobody could talk, and then it was like I had to create a chat group, then everybody could talk, and I was like, so I had to create a group and a chat group. But all that's linked on my website, which is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. My website is on my profile. Just join my profile. And hey guys, when I released my first Sovereign in Court video, TikTok removed my ability to see who goes onto my profile page of TikTok. So any of y'all can go on my profile 7 days a week, 600 times a day, and I will have no clue. I have no clue who ever joins my website or my TikTok. But I will be able to see, if I go through a bunch of smokes and mirrors, I can find out how many, like, per month view my profile. It'll give me a number, but I can't actually see who goes on there. They removed my ability to see that. All right, Solo. You can always request an ADA since the court threatened to use spells to mentally make you nervous. That's interesting. I've never heard that position. Like, anything's enforceable. You could do that. You can make that stand. Especially if you have any proof. It's just hard sometimes to prove things and what's admissible. I mean, even certain notarial documents aren't admissible. My website is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life. Tamara, telling me that's what happened to my FOIA request. They couldn't provide it. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the same thing as the do not detain list that people make you pay to try to get on. They're putting you on a basically terrorist watch list that the cops say they'll still pull you over and arrest you depending on what you're doing. And sometimes, depending on, now, like I said, I watched a video. If you're in a high case profile and you're a mob boss and you've infiltrated some stuff, then yeah, the police will let you slide on that, you know what I'm saying, because you're basically a federal informant that's working in a high case class level. But the typical person that just gets put on a terrorist watch list because you're trying to say that, the government's crazy and you don't want nothing to do with it or whatever, they'll still arrest you. They'll still detain you. It might say, depending on what the do not detain list says, it'll say contact the Homeland Security and see whether or not it's worth letting them go or let them to continue to build their case, because they're just building a case against you. That's what the do not detain list is. It's basically they will either arrest you now or later. Okay. Typically, if you're doing something crazy now, they'll get you. If it's something simple like, oh, you accidentally did a U-turn where you weren't supposed to, they might let you slide on that one while they're building their case, a big one, because you're just a part of the huge puzzle that they're trying to take down a terrorist that think that they can overthrow the government. And if you try to do this stuff in China, your credit score is going way down. If you get involved in any of this stuff, if you even look at, like, and I think they're doing those pilot programs now where your social credit score, if you do anything, you say the wrong thing, you look at the wrong thing online, you post the wrong thing. I think they've even done that here where somebody posted something on Facebook that went against some public politician and you end up catching a charge or something. Like, stuff's crazy nowadays. It's wild out there. I don't know what's going on. Solo, outstanding. Oh, Sigma, you do take what from Social Security number, Federal Reserve account, but don't and won't get your TDA? What in the world? You do take from Social Security number, Federal Reserve account, but I don't know what you're talking about, but I have seen people that teach you that you can just use the SSN number and then a Federal Reserve basically bank, and then you pay for stuff, and it'll work for 3 days until they find out that it's not authorized to do it in that manner, and then it'll be reversed. But what I teach is it's possible to go through the DTC with a Social Security bond, in order to claim 1/10 of your estate at a time, because Social Security, since a certain date, only allows 10 cards within your lifetime, and you can claim one of them, or you can claim all of them, but 1/10 at a time is one bond, each bond that you can go through the DTC with. Solo, well, our other is the public. Yep. Slob, got anything new on manufacturing distribution? I want to get some energy drinks pumping. So I didn't look up, like, if you would have DM'd me, we could have worked on some. Last time I asked you to do a business, what is it called? Whenever, you don't have to go to a bank, but whenever you go to a bank, they want you to have a business plan. So I told you last time to reach out to somebody who makes business plans or to come up with a business plan. Like that would be the next step, to find out what the market is, what your return on investment is, and what you can basically see to make. And a lot of these companies have proprietary information. If you reach out to one of these people that will do the whole thing for you, it doesn't cost a whole lot. I've had people make business plans for me. I've made my own business plans, but it's good to make even if you're not going to borrow money from a bank, quote unquote, even though you're creating your own funds or whatever. But yeah, so that was the last thing I think where we left off. Solo, according to the U.S., we can't own anything, so how can it be forcible? So no, the U.S. citizen can't own anything, but you, the human, can. You are the sovereign. You are a fractal of the creator. You have the unlimited ability to contract. You can do any and all things, right? So that is you, but the U.S. citizen, yes, it is a franchise fractal of the bankrupt U.S. that is operating out there and can't hold any assets. You gotta figure that the U.S. is bankrupt and the franchise of it is bankrupt and everything controlled by it is bankrupt, and it's all passed on to the creator or the creditors of the United States since 1933. Solo, operating a debt-driven system. Also, me, the living man, is not the person on the contract. Yeah. So, and when I sign stuff, Solo, I'll sign in all capital letters as the authorized representative of an entity, because even if no matter how I sign it, it's not me. I mean, it is me signing it, but the ink that's left is not me. I am not that ink. It did flow through me. I mean, I'm a source of the creator that things flow through. But anyway, Mama Ink, nice to see you too. And I'm glad that I actually popped up on your For You page. I mean, TikTok throttles me a little bit, but not so hard where it hurts where I walk sometimes. Solo, that's what the left is trying to do. Really? Slick Vic, does that mean we can't get 10 new SSN numbers? Yeah, you could get a new SSN number for a new birthing, but you can only get 10 Social Security cards for each U.S. citizen. Unless you've lost one, I mean, I think you can get there's a couple reasons that you can get a different EIN or TIN for the person, and I think even if I don't know what would happen if you've gotten all 10 of your Social Security bonds and then you tell them that you've lost one and you need it. Like, I don't know if they would recreate one, or that's kind of a gray area. I don't know what they would do in that situation. So, all right, Solo, or identity theft. Yeah. It's kind of tricky when you're dealing with identity, because we all basically were walking around for a bulk majority of our life thinking that we were a corporation. I mean, we are banks, and we basically flow energy in and out as fractals of the creator. We have spiritual antennas that can source and receive and put out information and energy, and we can eat and put out energy. It's like we're all banks. So I have reached the bottom of my life. Guys, if you want a recap of this YouTube video, a recap of this video, it'll be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. All my social medias are linked on my website. My website is linked on my profile page. It has auxiliary information for your walks. I also have playlists to help re-educate you on a case-by-case basis. I do free consultations. I answer DMs, emails, phone calls. I have a video that I've finished recording, just got to finish editing it. I should be releasing it tonight or tomorrow. My Telegram group is linked on my website. It's Nature, Spirit, and Commerce. You have to go on my website, just click on my emblem, and it'll take you to my profile page of TikTok. And then you look down just a little bit, you'll see a link. It has my website, which is Anointed New Foundation of Peace.life, and you'll see all my social medias on there. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'm going to wrap up. I love you guys. I'm so glad that you came on here for this Friday and joined me in being a crazy, wild, somewhat educated person that I've been in a very lucky position to be able to study for 13 years while also maintaining a public job that can bring enough income in to deal with stuff while I'm studying. So a lot of people aren't in that position, and I feel very lucky, and that's why I kind of want to release and help with everybody with this knowledge, because there's so much misinformation out there, so many false teachers, so many false preachers, so much information that will harm you, like people that get 1 million views when they're saying just hop in your car and drive without a license, you're good. And it's just like, oh my gosh, that's just not what happens. Please listen. But on the other hand, a lot of people don't take me serious because I'm not selling any products. I'm not selling any time. I'm giving all free for my own will and volition. This is something that I do for fun. Slick Vic, thanks, Charles. Have an awesome weekend. Be safe. Yep. Guys, I appreciate you. I'm going to wrap up. I'm glad that y'all came on here. I hope to catch you next time. Check out my videos, my playlist. You can DM me or email me or call me. But check out my social medias and my playlist videos, and it'll help re-educate you. So have a beautiful Friday weekend, and I hope everybody catches me next time. I put when I'm going live on my Telegram group. Other than that, you'd have to subscribe to me here on TikTok. So other than that, you're welcome, Holly. See y'all later. Have a good night.